Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I am so excited to announce my brand new TBR game. So I've been meaning to do a TBR game for years. Honestly, ever since people on BookTube started doing them. Sorry, I just had to adjust. You were right in my face. But I am not that creative. I wish I was. But I finally figured out how I can do my own. So one of my favorite games in the past year is Hitster. So I don't know if other people are that familiar with it, but I'll explain. Okay, so since it's the first time I'm playing this game, I will talk about the rules. If you have no interest in that, as always, there will be timestamps down below, so you can skip to the actual TBR portion. Also, I already filmed a video that's already uploaded, but I have been gone for at least almost 2 months. The reason for that is I was in a giant reading slump and also didn't really feel like filming. So that's where I've been. Nothing too exciting, honestly. So yeah, let's get started with me talking about the rules, and then we're gonna start the game. So basically, Hitster is a musical game where by using your phone and scanning the back of the card, you have to create a timeline of 10 cards. So you start off with one card that has the title of the song and who sings it and the year. And that is how you start off the game. You put it in front of you, and then the next time it's your turn. So obviously you don't play this by yourself, you play this with other people. Every time you scan the card and you hear the song, you have to decide where it goes on your timeline. So in this case, is the next song before or after 1989? And whoever gets to 10 cards in their timeline wins. So I was thinking, okay, so how can I adapt this to a TBR game? So I'm gonna play the game. I'm not gonna get to 10 because I think 10 is too much, but I have these two die and I'm gonna roll them. And whichever number seems reasonable to me is gonna be the timeline I'm creating. So I'm gonna start off with one card. That is gonna be my first book I have to pick. And then I'm gonna play the game. Obviously, since we're on YouTube, you cannot actually hear the song with me, but I am gonna film the entire video, including the song. And I was debating on whether or not I should start a Patreon. I have not decided yet, but if I do create one in the future, these full-length videos, including the songs, will be on there. You don't need to listen to the songs to enjoy this TBR game, because the TBR game portion is about me picking a song based on, or picking a book based on anything on the card or that is related to the song. You get to see which what the actual song is, but the only thing you cannot do is listen to it. Like I said, I have not decided at all if I'm gonna start a Patreon, so maybe this is just I don't know, whatever, we'll see. I mean, it might happen or it may not, we'll see. So you will see me guess the song, and you will see me guess, if that's possible, and you'll see me guess or put it on my timeline. Whenever I get a song incorrectly on my timeline, that adds another book to my TBR, because I then have to continue on until I get to the number that needs to be reached for my timeline. Plus, I also have to pick a book for the one I got incorrect. And the rules for this game is you get these things, these coins, whenever you guess the song and the song title correctly. So I will be utilizing that. I believe if you actually play it, you get 3 of these before you start. I'm not gonna do that. For this one game, I'm gonna use these coins if I actually guess a song correctly and the artist, to tick off, to remove a book from my TBR. But I would really love to know if you guys have any ideas of what I could use these coins with. Do you think I can save them up, or should I start clean with every game? And in general, if you have any feedback, constructive criticisms, I am all ears, because obviously this is the first time I am doing this. So Hitster, I have 2 editions. I have the classic one and the guilty pleasures one. For the cards, I did mix and match both these games. So the cards I'm choosing, they're either are going to be from the classic one or from the hits for the guilty pleasures one. So I'm just going to pick one, right? I think I'm going to start with this one, this game, and then next game I'll do this one. But like I said, both have the same, like have cards from the regular one and the guilty pleasures one. Obviously, since I live in the Netherlands, I believe like at least 1/3 of the cards are Dutch. So I removed most of them. I have kept some of them in there because I like them, and also I wanted to include a little bit of Dutch music too, but I did remove a bunch of them. And especially like Dutch artists that sing English, I kept most of those in, and then some that are Dutch songs, like actual the Dutch language, I kept some of them in there because I thought it would be fun too, and to introduce you guys to the songs. For every TBR game, I will link the songs that were used in this game in the description. Also, what I'm very sad about is within these two games, I believe, yeah, so this has 300 hits, and this one also has the same, I believe. No, 308. Oh, both of them have 308. So I have 616 cards and only one Taylor Swift song. There's just one out of all of them. I believe it has something to do with the licensing. I'm pretty sure it's also not Taylor's version. So yeah, I believe those are, as far as all the rules are concerned. Yeah, so recap. I will start with these die, and then I have to create a timeline and pick my TBR based on that timeline. And for the TBR, it can be anything. Like preferably it will be based on the lyrics, but I can also use either the artist or the title or the year it came out, or if all else fails, I can use, because all of these cards have a different color, I can use the color of the cards. So let me pick, so in this case, like an orange cover book, like if all else fails. So yes, I think those are the rules for now. And let's get started. So let's start the game. I'm gonna use this box for this game. So let's do the die. All right, 3 and 5. Can you see that? Ooh, I don't think you can. So since it's the first time I'm playing it, let's go for 5. If I don't make any mistakes on my timeline, maybe we'll go a little bit farther, but we'll see. So as always, I'm gonna just, let me actually pick a bunch. Yeah, so I picked a stack. I'm gonna leave it right here next to me, and we're picking the first card. Like I said, the first card starts off my timeline, so I'm not actually scanning the card for this one because this starts off my timeline, but I do have to pick a book because it's part of my timeline. So the first one is a Dutch song I can see. Step Right Up by Jamai. So funny enough, for those of you who don't know, he won the first Dutch Idol, and I used to fucking love this song. So yeah, I'm gonna think about these. I'm gonna play the game and then I'm gonna pick the books. So, okay, so for the first card, Step Right Up by Jamai, I went with the lyrics, who am I to ask from you to leave it all behind? Who am I? Just a selfish guy, no one you should trust. So I went with Phantasma. So from what I've heard of the synopsis is that this is a mix of Caraval and Throne of the Fallen. Okay, so when Ophelia and her sister discover their mother is brutally murdered, there's no time to grieve. Ophelia has inherited both her powerful death-driven magic and enormous debt on their home. Ophelia's sister decides to join in the Phantasma games to pay off their loan, so Ophelia has no choice but to join her. And then a charming, arrogant stranger claims he can protect and guide Ophelia, but she knows she shouldn't trust him. So that is basically where it ties to the song. I am meaning to read Phantasma because the sequel comes out in April and I really want to read Phantasma before then. So this is definitely on my TBR. So hopefully I'll read both Phantasma and the sequel Enchantra in April. So I thought it fits, so let's move on. Let's get started with the first game. I do have the app, right? Hopefully. I should have prepared better. No, I do have the app. Step right up, walk right in. Okay, if you have not listened to this song, it's a very fun song. Okay, so let's, you have to connect to Spotify. So I'm gonna scan now. Okay, I do know this song. What the fuck is this song called? But I don't know who sings it. Let me just listen to this a little bit more. I do know that it's after 2003 though. Okay, so obviously it's I'm Sexy and I Know It, but I don't know who sings this song. I do not. I do not. Who sings this song? Anyway, let me film. Okay, actually, how about you guys look first? Can you see that? Hopefully you can. You know, professionalism. So this is the start of my timeline. It's I'm Sexy and I Know It. I know for sure it's after 2003. So let me put it right here. So I think it's after 2003. So let's flip. Yep. 2011. So it was Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO. You do have to have both the artist and the title correctly. So I don't get anything for this one, but I got it right. So that's good for me. I think Sexy and I Know It, I can definitely pick some good books for. Okay, so Sexy and I Know It, I have an interesting one for that. So obviously a lot of books could fit into that because a lot of main male characters are sexy and most of them do know it. But I really wanted to pick a book that was on my TBR. So I chose this line. And when I'm on the beach, I'm in a Speedo trying to tan my cheeks. So I went with Deep End. Mainly for the Speedo line because this main male character is a professional swimmer and all of them wear Speedos, and that is really the only thing I could relate to this one. Maybe I don't remember in this book if he's like a player type guy. If that's the case, it fits even more because that would mean that he's sexy and he knows it. So this is one of those books that was definitely very high up on my own anticipated releases, but because I was in a reading slump, I didn't read it, and I'm planning on vlogging me reading the books that I was anticipating that came out during my reading slump. So this is definitely on the TBR. I will for sure be reading it in April. So this is about Scarlett, who is a junior at Stanford. So she's a student athlete and she's a diver. And then there are swim captain, world champion, and all-around aquatics golden boy Lucas Blomqvist. And he already is winning gold medals and breaking records. And on the surface, they really have nothing in common. Although reading the synopsis, it does seem like they have some things in common. But they start this arrangement like this friends with benefits type situation. I've heard great things about it. Let me actually see the rating. Yeah, it has a 4 average rating, which her last book that came out was not my favorite. That was one of the worst books I read. And that one had a 3.63 average rating. So I have higher hopes for this one. So yeah, hopefully I'll love it. So let's continue on. So already 2 books on the TBR. Let's continue. Okay, you get to see it first. Okay. Okay, so the song is I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight, right? I don't know who sings it. Listen, I'm not that, like, the odds of me actually getting the song, if it's like a little bit older, is very slim. But anyway, this is my timeline. I think it's before 2003. I think this is 90s or 80s, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. My brother is very, very, very good at this game, so thankfully I'm not up against him. But I think, yeah, I think it's before 2003. I think so. Yeah, okay. 1986, so around the time that I said. So also I think a good one for my TBR. So let's move on. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight by Cutting Crew. So once again, I did find some lyrics that fit the book I want to pick. So from what Google tells me, or at least Genius tells me, is that this song is about a girl who has broken many, many hearts, and this guy is going into it knowing that he'll probably get his heart broken, but he's willing to sleep with her anyway. So I didn't really go that route. I went for this lyric. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. So basically I chose The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. So this is the second book to The Crimson Moth or Heartless Hunter. So that book, the first book has 2 titles, Heartless Hunter in the US and The Crimson Moth in the UK. And basically this lyric I feel applies to both characters without spoiling it, but In the first book, you follow Rune and Gideon, and they are on opposite sides of a war because she's a witch in hiding, and she's also the Crimson Moth, and he is a witch hunter, doing anything and everything in his power to capture and execute the Crimson Moth. So basically, they shouldn't be in each other's arms, and they both should have walked away, especially events towards the end of the book. This book starts off with them knowing that fact, and I'm sure they cannot stay away from each other. So very much looking forward to this one. If I wasn't in my reading slump, I would have already read it. This cover is drop dead gorgeous, so I cannot wait to read it. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so this is a dirty song, so I'm sure I can find a book for it. I have no idea where this goes on my timeline. I truly do not. How about you look at it? I just realized I might actually, I don't know if I'm showing you it upside down, but I cannot check. So how about I do this? Anyway, we'll see. Whatever, okay. Okay, this could be either before or after 1986. Okay, so it's either here or here. I don't know. Where's my brother when I need him? Okay, I think it's beginning of the 80s, I think. I think so. Let's see. No! It was 1999. Okay, so this doesn't go on my timeline then, which means I have 6 books on my TBR now. I have never heard of this song. Okay, so The Bad Touch. I told you it was a dirty, dirty song, and I was correct. Like, every line in that song is dirty, which makes me... listen, you guys know I love Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm just, like, why are people hating on her when this song exists? Like, literally every line in that song is filthy dirty. Anyway, I'm not one to throw stones. That is mostly what I read. So I'm gonna go for... So I couldn't pick a particular lyric because... And I cannot read out those lyrics too much because it's pretty graphic. But I'm going to go for The Good Girl by Nikki Sloan. So this is the 5th book in the Nashville Neighborhood series. And that series is a series following like very smutty books in this Nashville neighborhood. And the 5th book is a book I've been meaning to read for a while now, so hopefully I can get around to it. But you follow... So the Nashville Neighborhood starts off with The Doctor, and in that book it's a ex's dad romance. And this book is actually the book from the son's point of view, like his love story. So you follow... I don't know his name. But it's him and his best friend's little sister, and she's a good girl, but she wants to be bad, and she knows that he's bad. She's a bad boy. So... she's gonna go to him for sex lessons, and it sounds great, and it does sound like... I know I've read a couple of her books, and I know that she can definitely get dirty, so this song definitely applied. So I think this book definitely fits. Let's move on. Okay. I honestly have no idea what this song is, but... I guess. Anyway, okay. This to me sounds like a 90s song. It just does. So I'm gonna put it here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah! Wonderful Days. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know this song. Okay. All right, Wonderful Days. So for Wonderful Days, this is a song that just repeats the same lyrics over and over and over again. So I'm just gonna read to you the lyrics that I chose. I found my love, but it didn't last. Wonderful days belong to the past. I don't know where I stand, what I'm to do. Try to forget and find someone new. So I prayed on my knees to heaven above. Send me somebody, please, somebody to love. So I went with Saint by Sierra Simone. So at first I wanted to pick Saint for the previous song, but I just felt like that was a little bit like... Not that there's anything wrong with Nikki Sloan and her writing, but Saint, I know... I don't know, it just feels like it's a little bit deeper than that other dirty song. So I went for this one because Saint is the last book in the Sinner series by her, or the Priest series by her, sorry. And basically this series follows the 3 Bell brothers as they find their happily ever after, but also very much grappling with their sister committing suicide in the past because she was severely abused by their priest. And all of them have kind of found different ways to deal with that. So in the first book, Tyler became a priest. In the second book, Aiden, I think. Aiden forsook all religion, but he ended up falling in love with a nun, or nun in training. And then Saint is about Sean Bell, who became a monk. But he actually, this is a second chance romance because he used to be in love with Elijah, and they were a couple. Elijah was his older brother's best friend, and then eventually they broke up and he became a monk, and now Elijah wants to do, he's a journalist, I think, and he wants to write about the monk and their brewery, and it's their second chance romance. So I do definitely think it fits because, first of all, it talks about, I prayed on my knees to heaven above, so obviously that is a religious sentence, and since this is a book he's a monk, so the religion definitely plays a big part in these books. And also, I found my love but it didn't last is definitely heartbreak in the past, but with romances, usually it's lyrics like this, I usually tend to go for a second chance romance, so this definitely is one. And I believe Elijah actually is engaged to somebody else, so I'm kind of, partly I'm reading it from Sean's point of view, but also from Elijah's point of view. So, try to forget and find somebody new. Send me somebody, please, somebody to love. And then obviously, like I said, it's going to be their second chance romance. I haven't read it yet, obviously, but yeah, very much looking forward to it. Alrighty, so let's do that again. Maybe the last time, we'll see. Okay, I'm pretty sure this song is called 9 to 5. Let's look at it. I honestly don't know if this is helpful at all, but we'll see. So I think this to me screams older song. So I think it's before 1986, I think. Let me just hazard a guess. Maybe 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton? That could be totally wrong. Let's see. Ah, I am correct! Yay! Okay. Which means I get one of these. This is the timeline. And I'm gonna use this to remove a book from my TBRs. And then 9 to 5. Okay, so working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's taking and no giving. You're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship will come in, and the tide's gonna turn, and it's all gonna roll your way. So I went with Lot 62 by Northcote Knight. Technically, these two don't really work 9 to 5, but they, in the first book, both of them live in a trailer park, and they have a very, very rough life. They're very poor. They're described, both of them, as sometimes being dirty, since they are the poorest of the poor. You follow, this is another MM romance, by the way. You follow Devon and Maddox, and they are sworn enemies. They hate each other, they despise each other, but eventually Maddox finds, so both of them do motocross, but basically they both have shitty dads that constantly take their money. And Devon seems to have it a little bit worse. So when Devon's father nearly kills him, he goes to Maddox's place because Maddox and Devon's brothers are best friends, and he hopes to find his brother at Maddox's place, but he's not there. So Maddox ends up taking care of him, and eventually this turns into hate fucking, and this is going to be their romance. So I read Garen Park at the end of last year, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading Lot 62. So this really, this book, I don't think I've read another book where the characters were this poor. So very much looking, so I do think it works kind of when she's talking about, barely getting by, it's taking and no giving. In the song, she talks about that her boss takes and doesn't really give back. I'm kind of interpreting the lyrics, to be the world is taking and no giving. And then you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends since they live in the trailer park. Most of the people they know are in the same boat. And then I believe in the second book, they're trying to get to a better place. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. So having said all that, most of the books I picked are actually already on my TBR, so I'm not using this yet. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. Maybe I think in the next TBR, I'm gonna use it to maybe remove a book if I didn't get around to it. So that was the TBR game. I really hope you enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed filming it. So whether or not you guys like it, I know for sure I'm gonna keep filming it. I do think I need like an extra camera. So I'm gonna have to think about that. So maybe during the summer, maybe I'll ask for money for a new camera during my birthday, but that is in August. So anyway, that is neither here nor there. I successfully made a timeline. Out of all of these, I knew 3 of them, 3 of the 6, yeah. And the Jamai one, I would have 100% guessed. I just know it. So yeah, like I said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Any constructive criticism is definitely welcome. So leave all your thoughts in the comments. And if you have any tips or anything you love to see in a TBR game, let me know. I do have to say I am notorious for never finishing my TBRs based on the way I read. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do punishments, but if you have any suggestions for that, leave that down below. Yeah, if you're down there, leave me a like musical emoji. So anything that counts as something musical, leave that in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. I thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.